Time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time.
It's time for a good old-fashioned Q&A, MMA fans.
Yes. I guess it's just a
Ladies
little
and
bit hot
gentlemen, the moment has
in the
arrived
ears.
To hear from the man
How's that?
himself, Ariel
Yeah, I think
Helwani.
that's good.
Live from the Box
Oh,
Studios
yeah.
in beautiful New York City. It's
a nice
on
water
the
bottle we
nose.
got there.
Oh, yeah,
And
here it
now,
is.
to answer your questions,
Now, what do you think?
get
I
out of
mean,
your
we're very
seats
late.
on
We don't
your
usually
feet
get to
because
questions at
here he
Late
is,
for
4:50.
what?
Ariel
I know you guys got to set up for Saturday, and I know Andy's back.
Saturday.
Yeah, you've got the watch party. Are we
Yeah, but
going
Friday
through?
comes before Saturday.
We're going through all these things.
I think you should take it as far as you can.
DC2, Shalom Ariel, seeing the glimpse of action of action, Action Bronson on the broadcast Monday with Cheeto got me wondering about him coming on as a guest again. Maybe it would be possible for him to perform next time he's in studio, somewhat like his acclaimed NPR Tiny Desk performance. That was great. I love that. Would you be welcome to inviting a musical guest like Action on and possibly having them perform? Absolutely. Can we pull that off, Frank? You're the audio expert.
Yeah, let me just reach out to him.
No, I mean, can we pull off having someone perform?
Do like a tiny desk? Definitely.
Or like Howard Stern. Howard Stern would have like, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Can't stop addicted to the ding ding. Bing down to bound to
We're gonna
bing
get
ding.
Dinged for that.
What?
You can't sing songs.
Oh, come on. Would you be welcome to inviting? Yes. We've seen Vo cook on the show. It's time to let Action cook as well. As always, have a great weekend. I will tell you this. Great suggestion. There's a very good chance you hear from Action on the show in the near future. So if you're a big fan of Action Bronson, and aren't we all, of course, right now? Where is it? I'm wearing my Action Bronsons right now. There they are. I get so many compliments when I wear these. Oh my God, you know yourself. They are a hot commodity, and I think that they're almost impossible to find. So I always feel very cool when I wear these. Action Bronson, top 5 coolest human beings I've ever met. I would say top 5.
With GC, Rick, and I.
Yeah, as
on the
1
list.
through 4, and then Action. Troy, my old friend TST, aka LST. I've seen you ask Sean O'Malley for meditation advice and Tim Welch for morning routine advice, and also how to manage screen time better. My question: have you taken any of the advice and given it a shot? It's a great question. I'm compiling all my information. I have been working on the screen time, especially the social media time. I've really been working on that. Work in progress. I would like to get into meditation. I do pray every morning, and that's some form of meditation, but I think this is a little bit different. Morning routine, I've been working on it. In fact, like this morning, believe it or not, I think GC and I were talking about this on Monday, either on air or off air. Didn't look at my phone when I woke up. I looked at my phone to turn off the alarm, but I didn't check everything like I usually do. Feels like a victory. Rome wasn't built in a day, so we're going slowly but surely.
How long did you go?
I woke up at 6:30, and I think I went to around 7:30 when I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
An hour.
Yeah. But 6:30 to 7:30 is like prime time, hectic time in our house, waking everyone up, making lunch, this and that. So you're occupied. You're not just sitting around. The key is going to be like before bed or when I'm walking the dog. So like yesterday I was walking the dog, and usually I'll look at social media when I'm walking the dog. This time, podcast, pocket, didn't touch the phone. So I'm trying. I'm trying because I don't want to. There's a lot of things that are very depressing out there. And I'm
Anxiety would be through the roof if you walked the dog without the phone.
Okay, so this is a great question. It wouldn't be through the roof at all because I have no fear of missing out. In the past, I was always afraid of missing out on like a scoop. I'm sort of divorced from that life. I guess not the fear is like I would be bored. I did that story on the bird watchers last year, and I was so envious of them because I asked them like, what do you do when you go for a walk or when you walk your dog? And they say like, we have a whole symphony around us. They just listen to the birds and they're like, oh, this is that. This is the warbler. This is the. And I wish I could do that. But I feel like, here's the thing. I enjoy going for a walk with my dog and I enjoy listening to something. I will say though, I am very uninterested in everything that like. There are very few podcasts where I'm like, new episode, can't wait to dig in. Is there any podcast that's like a must listen to you? I find myself very uninterested in all the offerings out there right now.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Rick is. What is it? Oh yeah.
He says while he's doing a podcast.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing a show. Yeah.
Do you listen to your own shows?
I'm not saying I hate podcasts. I just find that there's nothing that is enticing me right now. No, do I listen to my own shows? Absolutely not. Are you crazy? I don't listen to anything.
I've told the story of where, I listen to podcasts when I go to sleep, and sometimes I'll forget to set the timer, and it'll just keep rolling, and it'll roll into like an episode of the MMA Hour, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and it'll be playing, and it's like a nightmare. Yeah.
Oh, why? Why would that be a nightmare? Do you hate your job?
Yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, what is this? What is going on right now?
By the way, what about that clip from Travis Barker? He was on a show saying that he goes to sleep to this show. If you're listening right now and if you're dozing off, hello, Travis. That was a huge honor because I've always said, and it's not because it's Travis Barker, who I actually grew up loving Blink-182. All the small things. I mean, just legendary band. But anytime someone says that we are an escape, you can listen, watch, read a million things while falling asleep, right? A gazillion things. And they choose to listen to us is the greatest compliment. So, of course, when you hear someone super famous and successful say they choose to listen, but like if Joe Schmo sent me an email and it has happened, and they say, oh yeah, my wife is always like, why are you listening to that guy? Or can you stop? It's just an amazing compliment. Cool.
You got to say hey to Kourtney Kardashian as well while you're at it.
Kourtney, yes, of course. Well, I'm assuming he's not like letting it play, You think he's playing it in the house? You think he's playing it for everyone to listen to or in the bedroom?
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know. If he's going to sleep, you never know.
That's my sleep routine. I play it out.
You just play it out?
That's
my
what I
wife's
do too.
Wife's okay with that?
My wife's a loud snorer. First of all, my wife's asleep before me, but she's also a loud snorer. So I think that the trade is fair.
Wait, you actually play it?
I deal with her snore. Yeah. It's just on next to me.
Wow, that's crazy. No earbuds?
I do the exact same thing.
Really?
You fall asleep with earbuds in?
I don't like the comfort of the earbuds in.
Can't do it.
Because I'm not like a back sleeper and I don't stay still. Like I'm on my body,
my wife
my
would
chest,
kill me.
Like I'm just. Yeah, sorry.
Wow. What are you listening to at night?
There's some good ones. Like most of them are like old favorites. Like I really like a lot of the Ringers. Shout out to the Ringer. They're a pop culture podcast. The Midnight Boys are great. They've got a new series called The Wedding Scammer that comes out every week.
Nice.
Which I'm really vibing with.
I got nothing right now.
Simmons, like the usuals that I've been listening to for a bit. So
can I tell you what's my favorite?
As you know, huge podcast guy.
No, I know. That's why I was like, oh, I should ask Eric this.
Yeah.
My current favorite thing to do now is soccer documentaries or soccer like highlights, like when Tottenham played on Monday. That was a crazy game. Did you see that? Like 5 goals were called back. So I'll watch. They'll put together like
red cards, right?
Yes, they'll put together like good shout, Frank. How did you know that?
I talked to a coworker yesterday.
Yes, they had 9 men. They'll put together like these 18-minute compilation videos, and so I'll watch that sometimes. Soccer has really become like my favorite escape, even more so than the NBA and all that at the moment. I don't know.
So you're laying in bed watching the TV? You're a watcher?
No, phone.
But you're okay. So you got the phone and you're like watching it as you doze off?
Yes, and it usually lasts like 4 minutes. As we've discussed, it takes me forever to finish anything.
Yeah, no, we have. I'm a listener, but I mean, so you have the headphones in while you're watching it.
Yeah.
Nah, you're not living. You're not living life.
Blare out.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
Wow, all of
my
us.
wife puts
I am a
the
little
earbuds
surprised
in.
that all of us do it.
I guess I'm just not that selfish. I mean, I don't want to wake other people up.
So
Sounds like you're not having a great experience either, though. Sounds like you're a little bit.
I mean, the idea of sitting in bed and listening to something without any headphones on is like, I feel like it's an incredibly insensitive thing to do to the person sitting next to you.
Good sleeper.
My wife is snoring next to me like a chainsaw.
What if she's
like,
okay?
Between the two of us,
it's that bad, Rick. She's just like she's just ripping it.
Man.
I mean, then you actually you are owed playing the podcast.
Sure.
I'm owed.
What if
she owes me back pay?
What if
on
she's
the noise.
trying to fall asleep?
I mean,
She's already
try
asleep.
harder.
Okay, but would you do it if you're
we just had a baby. We got a 2-month-old baby. She's already been out for 40 minutes
but
before
would you play the thing full blast if she's trying to fall asleep?
Not full blast is not accurate.
Yeah, no,
like,
I'm not talking full blast. I'm talking like it's barely a smidge on, just enough to where I can hear it.
But okay, so then wouldn't you rather hear it like full blast in your ears?
No, I don't want a full blast. I don't want a full blast. It's just someone lulling me to sleep. Something that I don't have to be listening to, that I can just kind of, it's just like white noise, background noise. Some people listen to ocean sounds. Some people have the TV on. I play the podcast. Rick has his wife just ripping a chainsaw, snoring.
Yeah. If mine starts snoring while I'm watching something, I tap her on the shoulder and ask her to roll over.
Wow,
Frankie.
I guess I'm nicer than I thought.
What I've discovered is what we need, though, is an update on how Travis Barker does it. Like, now we know MMA Hour, but now question. I need like the habits. I need to.
This is really going to prove if he's listening. This is really
going to prove,
or if it's just a one-time thing, you know.
Yeah. So the question that we have for Travis is he listening with headphones, or is he listening, full blast? Does Courtney mind? Is she a fan as well? I mean, it's possible.
By osmosis. I mean, she's listened to it enough.
Like,
probably.
Who's this Ariel guy with all the great takes? And everyone's so fond of.
Have the listening habits changed during the pregnancy? I mean,
sure. That's right.
These are all questions we need answered.
Okay. Please get back to us, and you're certainly welcome on the program as well. Travis was on the show back in the ESPN days, so friend of the program, as we like to say. Okay, Cole, happy Wednesday to Ariel and crew. This past weekend, my son won gold in his first jiu-jitsu tournament. Mazel tov. Seeing him win and how happy he was made me feel over the stars. Never heard over the stars. I've heard over the moon, but not over the stars. But it makes sense. Couldn't help but think, we always hear about the thrill and the agony in sports, but when it's your child, these emotions can be heavier than what we see on TV. My question this week, Ariel, is what advice or personal experience can you share from a father's perspective on not only dealing with the agony, but teaching your child how to deal with it too? Thank you for your time and love the show. That is a great question, and I couldn't agree more. Man, I get nervous when I watch my kids play sports, and now my daughter is playing soccer. And just last week, guys, my daughter's coach in rec league soccer, she's in first grade, said she should really think about travel soccer. She's got quite the rifle. 4 goals in the last 2 games, okay? Not to brag or anything, but there have been times where my son, got put in nets, and I was freaking nervous because I didn't want him to feel embarrassed or feel ashamed or feel guilty about letting the team down. And so it's funny, Uriah was talking about his parents attending his sporting events, and my parents didn't, like, it wasn't a thing. It wasn't a part of the culture that parents go to sporting events. Here, it's everyone has to go, and if you don't go, you're a bad parent. And so I try to remember how I felt after letting the team down. I remember one time, I think I was in 8th grade, and I missed a shot at the buzzer in high school basketball, and it killed me. I was so mad about it, and it was it felt good. I wanted that buzzer beater so badly. And so you just try to talk to them about, playing hard and being a good teammate and highlighting good moments in the game. But yeah, you did this, and don't forget you did that. And it's not easy because my middle son's team never loses, and my oldest son's team always loses. And, some of the games aren't close. And so try to lift his spirits and not get too down, not get too high. And so it's hard to give like a blanket piece of advice. You have to know your son or daughter. You have to know what makes them feel good, what, makes them feel bad. Try to stay away from the bad things, give them encouragement. And the main thing to me has always been, as someone who struggled with this as a kid, like confidence. Build their confidence. Let them feel good about themselves. Let them feel that even if they didn't have a great game, dust yourself off, get back out there. And then show them pride and show them happiness when they do great things. So I always tell them how proud of them I am and how much I love them and how happy it made me to be there and watch them and all that stuff, because it's the truth. I mean, there's nothing on the week. Like, I look forward to all of those games, and I'm so mad when they end up coinciding and I have to miss one. I hate that. It's a great feeling. And then when they score and all the parents look at you and you're just on, I'm not a loud parent. I don't scream. I don't fight. I don't argue. Except for that one time we talked. But for the most part, I'm pretty much to myself. It's a fantastic feeling. So I wish your son the best in his jiu-jitsu journey, and hopefully you'll be by his side to be there for the ups and the downs. Logan, greetings, Mr. Helwani. Given the 3 title fight announcement we got Monday, what do you think the long-term plan is with Conor McGregor? All signs point to a UFC headliner with Michael Chandler, but given he wins or loses, what do you think the direction the UFC goes, given both outcomes? I see no fight beyond this that makes sense if he loses. Come on, that's crazy. There'll always be a fight for Conor that makes sense. Is it a Diaz fight? Is it a Gaethje fight? Is it there's always a fight for him that makes sense. Even another Poirier fight, for goodness sakes. I think let's just get to this fight. I don't know how many he has left. It could be less than 5. It could be less than 3. Conor McGregor at UFC 300 is the move, especially given what they've laid out, and it would just make that event gigantic. So hopefully it happens, and it sounds like he's in a really good place, training currently in the UAE. So let's see. But all signs, I don't know about 300 specifically, but it seems to be all pointing to the direction of that April-ish return, if all things continue to go this way. Thomas, what's up, Ariel and crew? Is Frank the reason why you no longer do the Dart segment with in-person guests? Did he get sick of making sure their audio was good? Whatever the reason, I hope it comes back soon. Thanks for all you do. I couldn't make it through my work week without you all. I appreciate that. I don't know. I don't know what happened with the darts. I really don't know. But to answer the question, it is not a Frank thing. It is solely a me thing. I don't know what happened.
I've been getting endless complaints.
Yeah, why? But this
people want to see it.
This is the classic. But you know what? This is the classic thing, because when we did it, people complained.
You versus Steve-O in darts.
When we
Steve-O doing something crazy.
Is it not true that when we did it, people complained?
Not true.
And then they complained when we had the darts guys on.
You don't know what you got till it's gone. Now it's gone, and everyone misses the darts. I mean, the board's right there.
You've got to factor in an extra 10, 15 minutes to the interview.
We can do that easily.
But it just, we're here, and it makes for a longer day. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'll bring it back when the time is right.
Is it fair to say, your darts passion has waned, right? Like,
that has to be addressed.
No, it's not true. I'm still watching everything. I'm watching everything. MVG.
We'll be there in June. We'll be there in June.
I can't speak.
I haven't heard you talk about it in 6 months.
Excuse me. You're not asking about all my interests. Are we talking about La Liga soccer as well? We're not. Okay, I could talk to you all about Jude Bellingham.
You'll tell me about it though.
Jude Bellingham, what a guy.
I've actually heard you opine about Jude Bellingham on several occasions. I
haven't
heard about him.
Follows me on Twitter, by the way.
My bad. Fair enough.
Let me tell you something. December World Championships, Ali Pally, you know all about it. We'll be talking about it. That's in a month. We'll be talking about it. So chill out. I try not to bother you guys with all my interests, because I know you're all very busy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Darius, hello Ariel and friends. During the UFC countdown for UFC 295, Tom Aspinall mentioned that he started sparring with heavyweights for this camp. Yeah, big weekend for Big Tom. It caught my interest because I figured it was normal for heavyweights to spar with heavyweights just to prepare for the power of strength. I wanted to know your reaction to the comment. Now, was he saying he only spars with heavyweights now? Like this was the first time? I didn't see it. There used to be a time where UFC Countdown was must-see TV. There used to be a time, believe it or not, that UFC Countdown would get 1 million viewers on Spike TV. Any longtime fans would remember this. And now I just feel like it's so formulaic, rinse and repeat. And perhaps I'm wrong. GC, do you watch UFC Countdown?
Yeah, I love UFC Countdown. I actually think it's far better than Embedded. Embedded's cool for like behind the scenes, but UFC Countdown,
sure.
For me, maybe it's just because I'm a newer fan. It's
no.
I mean, like right now, the episode for this week is sitting at over 600,000 views. So like
that is great. I'm talking about on TV, 1 million.
Oh,
it used to do 1 million on Spike TV.
Yeah. On TV, I don't even know when it comes on. I know it comes on TV still, but I have no idea when.
It was a big deal when UFC Countdown was premiering, sometimes after Monday Night Raw. Like it was always like in a strategic spot. Do you know of this comment about him sparring with heavyweights? Did you see it?
So I'm typically like a Thursday, Friday watcher.
Okay.
I'm not the Sunday right there as soon as it drops guy. But I will watch. So
I don't know about the specific comment, but I know that like Tom Aspinall is somebody who prides himself on like not moving like a heavyweight, right? Like probably not going rounds like a heavyweight. He's a little bit different from what we see from a lot of the heavyweight division in terms of like flat-footedness, sitting down on shots, slower. So I just have a feeling that like he's just looking to get the best work in, and like he doesn't get that necessarily from just big bodies that are available. That now I don't think that discounts the idea that like he probably has heavyweight training partners. We have talked about several of them. And I'm sure he gets that work, but I would imagine that like in order to kind of keep up with Tom Aspinall, who is exactly what I've just described, to his credit, you probably have to be a lighter type guy. You probably have to move a little bit more. You probably can't just be a hunk of meat that he's going to dance around. Otherwise, what's kind of the point there?
I agree 100%. Also, we do know that he has trained with the likes of Rico Verhoeven in the past. He has trained with the likes of Tyson Fury. So I would find it hard to believe that he is just training with heavyweights now or sparring heavyweights now. Robert, Ariel, on Monday, you made it sound like a manager was upset with you breaking fight news. You say that if you break news and the promotion doesn't like it, they'll move or scrap the fight. How does this manager allow that to happen? And even if he does, how do the fighters agree to go along with it? Well, okay, what I said last week was, I mean, the vast majority, 99.9% of the managers I have a great relationship with. What would happen is the UFC would get a fight done and they would tell the manager, hey, if Ariel breaks this news, we're going to scrap it and or move it or change it or whatever. Now, at the time when this really was a thing, it was when I was at ESPN, and I guess they didn't like that I was at ESPN. And so they would threaten to do this and give it to the other reporter at ESPN to try to make me look bad and diminish my standing within the company. And to the credit of my boss at ESPN, Glenn Jacobs, he would say to me repeatedly, we don't care if you break news. We don't want you to break news. You do other things for us. But this was just like my competitive spirit. I was obsessed with it and all that stuff. No more. In large part because I didn't like that it was putting the fighters and the managers in this awkward position where they would call me and tell me, hey, this is happening, but you can't break it because they told us this and we don't want to lose it. This has kind of died down, but I know it's still a thing because I've heard it from people. And so it's not the only manager that gets upset when I break news is Ali, because he doesn't like when I talk about any of his fighters, good or bad. And I would argue that it's way more good than bad, but he just doesn't like it. And so that would be the only manager that is upset with me breaking fight news. The other managers don't care. They just don't want it to affect their standing. And I would also say they've never actually gone through with it. It's always just been a threat, and the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like, are you going to try to ruin a fight so that I could break it? Like, I totally understand why they wouldn't want to do that. So the reason why you ask, like, why would the fighters go along? It's not really up to them. And the managers are like, hey, man, like, we love you, and you could come interview our fighters, or they come on the show, this and that, like, just this one, you got to keep it under your hat. And so what am I going to say? It just would put me in an awkward position because you're sitting on big news when at the time you're dealing in that type of currency and you have to watch someone else break the news because for whatever reason this organization at the time doesn't like you. It's all very silly. I want nothing to do with it. And I mainly don't want to put I love these fighters. I love these people as human beings, and I don't want to put them in any kind of awkward spot. And so, as I was talking about, like with the phone and everything like that, like the less obsessive I can be, and I feel like I've proven over the last 10 plus years that I could break news. I could break a fight just like anyone out there could break a fight. I proved that. There will be 1,000 others to come. I'm totally fine with letting someone else do it. Again, if something gets dropped in my lap, if I hear, like, yeah, sure. But there's really no, like, I don't work for an outlet that is requiring me to break news. I don't write for anyone at the moment. So I don't really have to do it. And there's again, it doesn't really matter. No one is asking me to do it. Sometimes I just do it out of habit or history.
You're right in there?
Yeah, I dropped my pencil. But to answer the question specifically, it's really up to the UFC. So the manager or the fighter don't really have a say. If the UFC says they're going to do something, they're going to do it. And we've seen this. I mean, let's just say, when they announced those fights on Monday, some people heard it for the first time the way you heard it for the first time. And that's just the way, that's just the way the business is run. Peter, hey, Ariel, Monday was an all-time great show, but throughout the O'Malley interview, he reminded me of a character named Ziggy from The Wire. Wondering if anyone agrees, or am I way off? Have I ever told you guys that I've never actually seen The Wire? Yeah.
I thought you were a big fan.
No, I like saying that line. But I've never actually
you love
seen
the
it.
"we're back." You love the "we're back."
I like
up
that
meme.
one. I also like the "Come at the King, best not miss."
Oh yes, Omar.
Does anyone know about this Ziggy character, and does Sean O'Malley remind you of him? If so,
I understand, but no. But I understand why.
okay.
Like what? Just specifically in looks?
I don't know. It's what the guy said. I mean,
What was the question? Does he remind you of Ziggy?
he reminded me of Ziggy. Yeah.
I don't know. Ziggy was season 2. Not my favorite season.
All right. Well, that was.
I mean,
This is a good. This is a good one.
Nobody's favorite season. Let's be real.
How many seasons were there?
5.
5?
Oh wow.
And
I think
two
it's that season up.
two is one of those that like everybody hates, but there will be people who will pretend it's their favorite one so that they can, have the
'cause
hipster.
it's so
take on
different
it.
from the rest of the show, and then it doesn't really have any impact on the later episodes.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Sabakas, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched like a full series, Ariel?
I mean, it's a bit disrespectful question. What are you talking about? Of course I have. Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah. Good.
The Wonder
Curb?
Years. I've probably watched 1,000
Wonder
times.
Years, okay. Anything that isn't like a sitcom.
Wonder Years was not a sitcom.
Yes, that is true. Friday Night Lights. I binged one weekend.
Oh.
Coach Taylor?
Love it. Love it.
Okay, all right. Respect.
Huge
Dog,
fan.
former UGA student.
Entourage is comedy.
Yeah, but Entourage, that's a little more like show-esque.
But yeah, I mean, I just I'm doing a lot of things. What do you want me to say? I'm a very busy guy. There's a ton that I've loved to like. I've always wanted to watch The Sopranos, but I've never had the time.
Oh, that's great stuff. That's why I moved to New Jersey.
Yeah.
All because of The Sopranos.
Those Game of Thrones nonsense. I have no interest in that.
Those Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Nonsense. $10 million an episode for production.
I have no interest in any of that.
Did you ever watch
Just nonsense.
Coach, the television show?
Oh, that's a classic. No, I wasn't a fan. Coach Cheers. My uncle loved Cheers. My uncle
Cheers
Gad
is coming.
loved Cheers. He was a huge fan of Cheers, but it was
Home
a little.
Improvement.
Home Improvement was fun. Oh, I mean, don't get me started on Family Matters and Step by Step, and of course, Saved by the Bell was a classic.
Shout out.
Hang Time, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Remember that one on Saturday
that was a good
mornings?
one.
No, it was.
Carter.
Welcome back. Yeah. What else? Oh, Happy Days, amazing.
Happy Days like the Fonz?
Hell yeah.
yeah.
We were big into the Fonz back in the day. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, happy days. 4, 6 o'clock, happy days. Na, na. There was also these days.
Anything after 1985 or no?
Wait. What was the one? Oh, Family Ties was so good with Michael J. Fox.
I
That was
repeat.
a great one. The episode with Tom
Yes.
Hanks.
Anything this century.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
That was a
Okay.
good
So
one.
Quality
good.
shows.
I mean, we're
quality
catching-
television
we're catching-
programming.
Yeah.
90210.
Seinfeld
Just
ended
saying,
right before the
The
turn
OC.
of the.
Entourage was the century.
You know what I really liked? The Hills.
Wow.
Okay,
That's
fair enough.
That was kind of like The Hills and Real World. At one point, were kind of like my guilty pleasure TV watching.
Favorite
Same.
Real World season?
There was one in
Two for
Chicago
me.
that was good. There was one in
Chicago
Chicago.
was good.
New York, I think, was a good one. There was one on some
The Miz,
island.
the birth of the Miz,
Yeah.
or are you talking about the original New York? 'Cause
No,
even
I think that
that's-
was a little bit before my time.
How about the Jersey Shore poll by Steve-O?
Jersey Shore was a good one. It was
Yeah,
it was,
that was-
it was
that
kind
was
of
great.
It was kind of surreal to see Steve-O, like a product of late '90s MTV, give a Jersey Shore example. Right? I was like, wow,
I think he had Snoopy
I was
on
curious
his
if
podcast a couple weeks ago.
wow. That is
I was
We get
curious if he
Tom
was going to
Green
do
in
his
studio.
own financial. Sorry, Frank. I'm just going to keep going.
Do it.
I was wondering if he was going to give his own finance, because his example was basically like, you prove your worth and then you're worth so much more. I'm sure all those Jackass guys were getting like $50 to, tase each other in the nuts and stuff.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like
Yeah.
millionaires.
That's true.
It's pretty crazy. But
What about him?
product
just-
of the time. I wonder if that could happen today.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, that's why I asked him that question about like the platform and all that. But I'm blown away by his knowledge of MMA and like how deeply he cares about the minutia and the thumbnails and the time code and the first fight and like these.
We got tweets
I love it.
that were like, preach, brother, like Steve-O for president. Like
Yeah.
people are feeling the same way as he is. So he's speaking for the people.
Honestly, I wish I spent more time on MMA with him, but I wanted to give props to his show. But
I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
He's mentioning like these aggregator sites.
Yeah,
and he's like,
he's the one keeping them in business. They owe it all to Steve O, to be honest.
Unbelievable.
Oh, that's great.
Chris, what the heck happened with Talia Santos? She was on her way to being a champ. Literally, I mean, she may have even won that fight. Someone fumbled something, letting her go. Any info? No, I saw yesterday. I think this is a question for our boy Guilherme, the Brazilian beast, Guilherme Cruz, but I did not inquire on that one. Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one. Surprising, it's happened. But yes, that close to beating Valentina Shevchenko before Alexa Grasso beat her, of course, and we'll see. Maybe someone picks her up. PFL. Obviously not a huge, passionate following, but someone who's very good and, again, has the credentials because of what she did against Valentina and others. Ryan, hello, Ariel and crew. Other than stacking the card for $295, is there really any reason why they couldn't have Pavlovich versus Aspinall at another date with both guys under full training camp? I mean, could we talk about $295 is very top heavy. So you drop that fight off the card. I don't know. I don't know if that's Madison Square Garden worthy. So I think you needed that second title fight. Maybe hope that some British people come over. A lot of Russians live in the New York area. I mean, do you guys disagree? Like, GC, I know you did the deep dive for the podcast. Like, it's not a very deep card. Am I unfair in saying that?
I think the top two fights are unbelievable.
Standing, but then talk about MSG top to bottom.
I think the main card is fantastic, but it's funny that you say that. Yeah, we recorded No Bets Barred this morning, and we were so energetic, we were so hyped up at the start of the podcast, and we go top down. And by the end, I did mention, I was like, man, I feel like we're kind of losing some steam here, because it's a build up card. It's like you're gonna be hyped. We're at MSG, and as the fights go along, once you hit that featured prelim, that's when it's gonna pop off.
Yeah, and sometimes the MSG cards have been great. There's been a couple like the DC Derek Lewis one. They were scrambling for a main event 3 weeks notice. It's hard for everything to align. There was that legendary 217 card. Remember that? Those 3 title fights back to back to back might have been the greatest 90 minutes in UFC history. Rose, Joanna, Cody, TJ, GSP, Bisping, all finishes. Title changing hands. That was just amazing. That was at the Mecca. But sometimes, the stars don't necessarily align. Last one, OCO. Howdy, Ariel. You are unrivaled in what you do in the realm of combat sports. You have all the accolades and all the legendary interviews, but there's one interview that you need to truly go down in history as the greatest MMA journalist. The Iron Turtle. The people want, nay, the people need, nay, the people require a Park Jun-young interview. We want to hear from the people's champion, the Iron Turtle. Thank you. Wow. That seems like it's more of a request or a demand than a question. Do you guys share this sentiment?
No, your legacy is on the line, it sounds like. I don't think it's a question or a request at all.
Well,
are you as great as you say you are, or are you not? That is what has been presented. So
line has been drawn.
I will say
people are absolutely clamoring.
They love the Iron Turtle.
This man.
I will find him for
you. During the Chael Sonnen interview last week, as things were getting very heated, I tried to get a temperature on the chat, and someone was like, "I hate to change the subject here, guys, but are we getting an Iron Turtle interview anytime soon?" It was the people want what the people want, and we got to give it to them.
Well, shout out to the chat. We love the chat. Hello, everyone on the chat.
Quietly 7-1 in his last 8. Don't sleep.
Okay.
Don't sleep. Making a little run.
I do not know who represents Iron Turtle, but I'm going to find him, and I hope that when we book him on the show, people aren't like, "Who? Who's that?"
They're going to complain.
I dare people to do that.
Yeah. That, by the way, was the That's Money question of the week. And I want to remind you that support for this show comes from Cash App. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.